Welcome to Randolph Eastern School Board meeting. Will you please stand for the pledge in a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, thank you so much. We're here today, Lord. Sometimes we take this for granted that every day is going to come. We just ask you to be with us as we make decisions for our community, our school, and most importantly for our students. We thank you, Lord, for nobody being seriously injured through this tornado. And give the people that's wondering why, give them the reasons, Lord. Ask you to be with our military and bring them all home safe. In your name we pray, amen. Well, approval of the agenda.
So some changes here. First, the special presentations, because we don't have Wi-Fi in order for them to share their slide decks, they're going to reschedule. I will share that Miss Elliott was hoping that she could get, actually her students came down and talked to us during our meeting, would like a couple board members to do their pitch to tomorrow afternoon if somebody's available. I'll text you details, but I think at 2 o'clock, is that what, yeah. Tomorrow afternoon to come down and for the kids to do their presentation. So those are next. Unfortunately, I do have an addition. Mr. Jones finally got approval from UNOH to take a trip there on Friday this week. I think Mr. Wilson's going to take them. So that's an addition. It is on your agenda, 6.2.5. And then on the coaching recommendations, with the athletic director recommendation, all those football coaching recommendations we're going to hold table until the later April meeting. So number of changes. It's a weird time, weird board meeting being rescheduled right after spring break, but so a number of changes. But I do ask that you approve the agenda with those changes in mind.
I'll make a motion to accept the changes.
I'll second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Kelsey, roll call, please.
Jerry?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Wendy? Yes. Deb?
Yes.
Okay. Guess we'll write down the action items.
Well, any patron comments?
Guess we'll ask patron comments, my bad. Been a rough couple weeks. Anybody like to address the board? Now's the time to do it. Okay.
Your board minutes.
Board minutes next up.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting, February 15th.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Kelsey.
Jerry?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Yes.
It's all special presentation
You
here.
have your action items.
Action items. Claim approval.
Okay, I move to approve claims 918-0028 to 918-0250, payrolls 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Kelsey, please.
Jerry?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Okay. 6.2 field trips.
Yep, we have a number of field trips here. Third grade team actually took a trip to Boone Shop Museum on March 21st, which would have been right there at our last board meeting. Kyla Purdon's going to take a group to the Right Pat this Friday. Becky Keel has a group of students that have qualified for the DECA competition, the International DECA competition in Anaheim, California. And Sarah and KP are looking for approval for the Washington D.C. trip for next year so they can start the planning process. And then Mr. Jones and Mr. Wilson's trip to UNOH. So have 5 trips there to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the field trips as stated.
I'll second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Kelsey, please.
Jerry?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
6.3 personal consent agenda.
Have one certified change here. I know that at the February meeting, we accepted Mr. Thornburg's retirement. Following that, we opened up the position, had an internal candidate, and he's with us tonight. Had an interviewing committee. I know Mr. Puccini, Ms. Osborne were a part of that, but just like to recognize Keith Malloy as the next athletic director here at Union City Junior Senior High School. It's a big job, so ask the board to approve that recommendation.
Move to approve Keith Malloy for our next AD.
Amen. Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Kelsey.
Jerry,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Deb.
Yes.
That is a humbling reminder
Mhm.
of what spring sports are going to be like.
The
The rain on the
I
road.
spent the afternoon with Mike rescheduling stuff already today. so
Yeah.
I got a nice taste today of it, so.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you, I
Yes.
appreciate everything you guys have always done for
We're
me.
excited.
And the support that I've had the entire time I've been here, so.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about this new opportunity, new things to do, so I'm very happy, so. Thank you.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Keep
you're
you
free
busy.
to go. You're free to go or stay.
Well, I'm resigning too, so you wanna do that?
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're not gonna do both?
So the rest of the employment items here, we do have the coaches that are on the list. I gave you a couple for the fall of next year. And then the resignations, we have Christine Addington, who was our summer driver's ed teacher, is resigning her position. Keith Fields as the JV girls basketball coach, and Keith Malloy as the varsity football coach.
I make a motion that we accept those resignations.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jerry,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Deb.
Yes. You'll still be busy.
There we go. I just didn't want to get trapped into boats somehow, so.
Congratulations on both. There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks,
coach.
guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
Updates.
All right, Mr. Adams is up. We're going to try to limp through his presentation without internet. I did download this earlier, so he should be able, I can't blow it up any bigger than this, but that's,
I think they'll get the gist.
oh, that's too big.
It was about, I think, 2 years ago that we got notified that we received this school improvement grant for $3.3 million. It seems like it's been about 20 years ago with all the things that we've been through, meetings we've been to, conferences, and opportunities that's come our way. If we'll go through the goals real quick, just to kind of re-highlight those. Basically, it was to reimagine, re-image how we do school. And I think with what the DOE is proposing here that Mr. Black's going to go over here in a few minutes, that we're well on our way. Develop and expand career pathways. I think we've done a great job of accomplishing that. And then our work at Vision Corner is going to be highlighting that. Ensure post-secondary opportunities, and I think the work we're doing with Workforce Wednesdays and the opportunities that Mr. Jones is bringing kids and our recent development of our ICC certification for kids is going to help that along as well. And basically to empower students to discover their passions, because for far too long we've kind of we've done school the same way than when we were all in school. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us sometimes we didn't know why we ran those classes or what we were getting out of it. So we've got to connect that to their passion, and then I think the learning will take place. Intentionally build and create multi-sector community partnerships, and I'll give kudos to Mr. Jones. He's with his job, we've been able to add to that. He's doing a great job of bringing different people from different walks of business and industry and life to our kids to connect them to what they're interested in. Increase and improve communication with parents and families. That can always be improved. No matter how good we do at that, there's always going to be someone that says we can do that better, and we've got to continue to work on that. Increase our EL supports, because that continues to grow. I think we're sitting at 27% EL today, 200 and some plus kids. Develop a responsive curriculum for our Hispanic and low-income students, and then improve and move to more of a project-based and outcome-based learning. What have we accomplished? I think one of the biggest ones, we were just talking about that, is Workforce Wednesday. I think it's been there's things to improve obviously, but that's been a great positive in what our kids are doing with their projects and working to help build something at the park and with their chicken coops, or the Sizzle and Spice, or the nursing home project that they're working out there at assisted living. Those projects have really come to life, and I'm pretty happy with where we're at with that. We've been able to buy some supplies and equipment for the ag building. We're still getting some of those connected, and still some things we can buy out there, and some equipment for up at Vision Corner for the healthcare pathway, for K.I.S.S TV, and for the Apache screen printing. We were able to hire our Vision Corner and help get that started, executive director. And then here next week, we have the grand opening of Vision Corner on April 12th. That'll going to be a very exciting day for us, the city, and everyone else, I think, in downtown area. We've been able to travel to other schools and conferences to see what's going on out there and make connections. I know we just went on a trip. Me, Mr. Woolston, and Holly, and Darby Livingston down to South Carolina to see a farm-to-table school and things that we might be able to bring back with our chicken coop and greenhouse and some other ideas. We've been able to increase our EL staffing to help support there, and I mentioned our ICC, so our kids can go in with 30 credits that the schools have to take, and their freshman year is pretty much done, and it's paid for. So now they might be able to graduate in 3 years and have less debt. So I think are going to have 5 or 6 kids this year accomplish that. So that's great work in a year. Something we're working on, and this is also a federal program, and we're working on it with the Service Center here in our area, is our Modern Youth Apprenticeship, so that our kids can come out and have some high-level certifications. Ones we're working on is around a business certification and also with our healthcare pathway, because there's multitudes of areas you can go in the healthcare pathway. Build out our healthcare business and digital media pathways, and that's a lot of going to be what's at Vision Corner, along with our ag pathways, kind of expand on those. And just today, some of this has come through because of the grant before we got SIG, our SIG grant with our PLTW grants. Our dolls give a bunch of money to us in Winchester, where they reached out about a month or 2 ago, I think, Justin, and I had a meeting with their people from Indianapolis. They provided today some mock interviews and kind of what to go through, and I think we had about 10 or 15 kids. Jason was able to work through that, and that really goes along with Workforce Wednesday and getting our kids that opportunity to interview and present in front of other people and know what an interview process is like. And I think they're also wanting to offer an internship to graduating seniors in the future, to where they can go over there and work in the summer and maybe employ them down the road. And this is not just on the line, it's more of how do they wire a computer and patch and do networking. So it's more of a high tech. They want to see if the money they're giving to schools, they can get some benefit out of it, which that's a good community partnership.
Yeah.
So I think that's a plus. Some other accomplishments. We do have a seat, and Mr. Black's going to go, I think, talk about that in a few minutes, but we do have a seat at the table, one of the very few schools in the state, at what the high school redesign is going to look like. So we get to help give our input for a small Indiana rural school. That's kind of nice to have, put our stamp on it. We've held presentations, which is the most exciting thing. I think we have 4 or 5 different days where we've had some of you come, where other schools want to come see what we're doing, because they see it as a plus. That's always something exciting when someone wants to replicate what you do. So that puts some validity to it. Well, Mr. Jones and Lauren, our expert partner with Empower Schools and a couple of other business people, presented, I want to say it was the Indiana Chamber of Commerce or some committee connected with that, but that had to go around workforce development and what we're doing to give our kids that exposure into the workforce. A year or so ago, we presented to the Indiana Small Rural Schools on how to build community partnerships. We've had a couple presentations at the Indiana Superintendents Association. One that we were going to, but I think we got delayed and couldn't get back from Miami, or that kind of changed the plans on it with the K.I.S.S grant we got. And then we also, when else did we present to the Superintendents Association? Oh, I went over with Dr. Hicks and Eastern Hancock, and we presented about building community partnerships. So 3 different schools' perspective. Next week I go to the IDOE grant conference and present about students behind the funding. So how do you help students with the funding you're getting? They've asked us to present because of the work we're doing. So again, that's just another nice accolade that we're doing something right. Next week, part of the grand opening, Empower Schools, our partner, is going to bring some people from all over the country to kind of showcase what they've helped us do and what we're doing well. We got people from the Harvard School of Business, people from Maryland, Texas, Colorado, so all over, and all the local people and IDOE people coming. We presented at the Service Center, and just the list continues to grow, which to me that just speaks volumes about the work we're doing, our staff and our teachers and what our community's doing.
Yep. And I'm just going kudos to Justin and Neil, because all the opportunities to speak and share are great ways to highlight, because a lot of those are requests from the Department of Education, and that just keeps your name at the top of the list, but they've done a great job. I mean, I don't want to, because it's not all my work, and nor do I have the time to attend all these conferences and speak,
Right.
so I'll send one to Justin and say, hey, Justin, they need a panel speaker. He's like, I'm in. Neil's presenting this week at Gen Con, and I don't know that there's anybody, not Gen Con.
I think that's what they call it, yeah. It's about grants, but that and student success and all that.
Grant Con, maybe, I don't know.
Grant
But,
something.
But they're just, it's feathers in their hats, because they're putting themselves out there to speak about the work that's happening here pretty consistently. And that puts a lot of demand on people to get out there and get on stage and do that, so.
We
kudos to
appreciate
them.
it.
Yep.
Yep.
Last thing we've got to do here for kind of the next steps for the year ahead is to review and amend our year one budget and get it encumbered so that we can have it spent and collected by December 15th. That's kind of the regulations of the grant. So we're working on some amendments to finish up buying some equipment for the ag, repositioning some salary, just trying to make the biggest bang for our buck. Because when you build a budget a year and a half out, obviously things grow and change, and you have to be nimble and be able to change, and the DOE lets you do that. So we'll be doing that. And here by middle of the month, we have to submit year two to them to see where we're at. Even though we submitted that a year and a half ago, they want to see if we need to make some tweaks to it before they put the final rubber stamp on it. We will graduate next school year, 2025, our first cohort of medical certified medical assistants. So I think we should have 5 or 10 of those.
Good.
To me, that's a success.
Yeah.
We will work with our service center and our expert partner to further develop apprenticeships. Some of that will start in the healthcare, but there's also going to be some in the manufacturing area, just a lot of different areas that we will get started on that. Continue to build out our work-based learning experiences, because that's going to be a key part to the future diplomas. And we'll continue to grow and expand our Workforce Wednesday opportunities. So that's kind of a quick synopsis of where we've been the past year and a half or so, and got about another year and a half to go. So a lot of success, but a long way to go yet. And if you have any questions, you can ask them now or whenever.
All the COVID money that we received, has it all been dispersed or?
Really close.
Really close.
Okay.
I think we've got about $360,000 to finish up. And some of that will go to finish up paying our salaries for EL or buying a few pieces of equipment for Vision Corner or whatnot. Yeah. So it's all but finished, or some technology things to help our infrastructure or HVACs and things. But that has to be encumbered by September 30th.
Yep, so we're
Yeah.
close.
We're close, which is good and bad.
Well, we definitely
Yeah.
appreciate all the work that you guys
Thank you.
do for all this and getting out there,
Yep.
putting our little school on the map.
Yeah.
I will say that one thing that has also kind of grown from this is Justin's hosting a first ever senior signing day, where every senior is going to sign a commitment to what they're going to do the Monday after graduation. And we're going to kind of broadcast that and make it a big deal. We talked about it at our meeting today. It's a big undertaking that Justin's taking on, but it's really just putting that importance on kids to having a plan. Like,
Yes.
you're graduating, and he's already running into some students like, oh, like, I need to know like who to invite to that signing party, which is a good thing. It puts a little
Yeah.
pressure on kids to realize you're about to be an adult. So kudos to Justin, because that's a big heavy lift, as he's working through inviting 67 seniors, Jones, something? 60, yeah. So that's inviting the IUEs, Ball State reps, for my daughter, Butler reps, just contacting all those people, asking them to be here that day for a little photo op for signing, and employers. I mean, asking Ardall or Workforce to be here to be a part of signing if they're signing to go into the workforce. So that's a really cool, and it's the first step to kind of one of the things we're going to start asking seniors to do. We'll ask our seniors next year to do an exit interview to kind of talk about their high school experience and kind of defend the things that they learned and give us what their plan is for the future. So, yep.
That's good, because sometimes when they do that slideshow, some of them, they don't know what they're gonna do, but it's like, most of it you're gonna work.
We're
Even
close,
even if
yep.
you're going off to college, and just
that matters.
always tell them to say it,
Yep.
and be proud of,
Yeah, I think
You
part
know,
of that is changing the
don't be couch surfing. You just-
changing how we view students that are going to the workforce. I think for far too long they've been considered a lower tier of human being because they're not going to a four-year university.
Right.
So they don't say with pride that I'm going to work for the city of
Right.
Union City, but we need those
Yeah.
people working as well. So,
We're proud of them
yeah.
just the same.
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep.
All right, my next two updates. All right, I'm just going to give a quick overview. The week before spring break, we presented Mr. Moulton from Monroe Central and Ron Abraham from Randolph Central to the county commissioners and the council, which is a joint meeting, so it's a special meeting they held on a Tuesday night. First time I've ever been to a joint meeting, so it was a little bit of an intimidating crowd, to be honest with you, but we were kind of on the stage to share about RAS 32, which is the collaboration between the three schools, making our programs accessible to each other's. And to be quite honest with you, it was a sales pitch, and I'll just get to the nuts and bolts of why we were there if it opens up. These are all the funding sources. So that's the reason why we're there is to get this thing off the ground. We're projecting that we needed about $472,000 over 3 years to get this thing. See, it's not all open, sorry. And so we did a presentation, and after a lot of discussion, a lot of great questions from the county council and commissioners, they actually agreed to fully fund the first 3 years.
Wow.
They committed just under $500,000 to RAS 32. So now we are quickly moving to hire an executive director for that role, and that kind of promotes us. And basically what we're told is you've got 3 years to get this thing figured out and grow the numbers in the program. And then if you need financial assistance past that, come and see us. But they've given us, I mean,
Wow.
we were expecting 1 year and maybe part of the second year, but they stepped up because they've had some windfall money, I think, that in their favor, and they want to invest in our students. So,
Great.
if you see a commissioner or counselor, please just express your gratitude, because that was a huge night for us. And right along with the Next Gen SIG work, this is one of the biggest feathers on our cap to get this done with our county schools. And to have the funding in place where we don't have to sort that out is quite the blessing. So,
Yeah.
You said that's county council
county council and commissioners.
and
Yep.
commissioners,
Yep.
okay.
The next item here is, and you probably get a lot of emails from the ISBA on the topic of high school redesign and diploma redesign. Last Wednesday, Dr. Jenner did a presentation to the Indiana State Board of Education, and her whole presentation was about redesigning the high school diploma. It hasn't been touched since the 80s as far as the expectations of coursework. So it's nearly 40 years in the making to get to where we were. And the conversation that I think the board has to be aware of, and what we've been priming the pump for, and we've been very fortunate to be at the table in these conversations with the Department of Ed, having our say. And the reason why they like what we're doing, but they also, if Union City can figure this out, they feel like others should be able to figure this out and get it done. So kids are going to move to a 2 diploma type. This should be approved in August. But one, they're calling kind of your foundation or your Flex 40. But it's 20 foundational classes. So it's 2 years of math, health. If I could open the presentation, I would share it with you, but I cannot. English, your English courses, but base English courses. So what they've done is, for lack of better words, they've cut out some fluff and left room for work-based learning for students. So now students, for every 35 hours of learning, they can earn a credit. So they're putting an emphasis on developing work-based skills. And students can earn up to 8 credits, I believe, in work-based learning without being in front of me. So that's getting our kids out of the building when they're juniors and seniors in the workforce, getting experience and learning as much about what they don't want to do and trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. So that Monday morning after graduation conversation is a little bit easier. The other great thing about the diploma track is it really opens up space for those kids that want that Indiana College core. So our high achieving kids that want that rigor, it frees up a lot of time in their schedule where they can take those classes and get work-based learning. So it's not an either or, because right now if you ask our college core kids about working, it is extremely difficult because their schedules
Yeah.
are so
Right, they're too cramped.
structured, right? And the new diploma really frees up space where every kid will have access to work-based learning. Matter of fact, every kid will have to earn at least 35 hours of work-based learning before they graduate, which is not unheard of right now in our country. So a lot of big changes coming. We will come back once it gets approved, but I will make a recommendation to this board that we adopt that diploma type as soon as possible. And start shifting our kids, because what we're doing with Workforce Wednesday, those hours count. So that it will be best for our kids, because we position ourselves to be there, to move that diploma type as soon as it's made available.
That's
So
what's kept some of the kids coming for a day on the farm, because they don't wanna miss, they don't think they can miss their
Yep.
classes.
Yeah.
That they'll, or if they can get credit for that.
Right. Yep. So no, I think it's a huge step in the right direction. When we interview our employers, and there's plenty of data out there that states it's everything we talk about when we're in executive work sessions. Kids need to learn how to communicate, show up, do all those things, and the employers will teach them the job.
Right.
That's not watering down. There's a reason why there's foundational math and English, and those skills are important. But allowing those students to learn those in a workplace setting is going to be critical to future success. So that's a big news. I'm telling you, we're only one of 4 states in the country that are looking at changing their diploma as early as next year, and I think it's to be celebrated. There's going to be growing pains.
So it wouldn't affect the coming year, it would,
So what we'll have the option to do, so it will come in effect for the class of 29, so that's current 7th graders. What we'll have the option to do is, if we have kids that are juniors next year or sophomores next year, and it makes sense for their schedule and their track to move into that new diploma type, they can, or they can maintain the current core 40 diploma track. So they'll have the option of opting into either diploma option. Yeah. But it's geared for this year's 7th graders. That's when it'll be mandatory across the state.
I just didn't know when we would, looking at the timing, when we would try to implement, what that would do to schedules and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our schedule right now, a lot of the discussion they were having, and we've been having, because knew this was coming, that we're positioning our schedule next year to start transitioning over to a new diploma type.
Yeah. I cringe somewhat on it. It says just 2 years of math, and I know you said that during their workforce projects, they get math, but they need to, like, if they're going the ag track or something, just keep adding math into what they're doing, whether it's knowing how many bushels are in how many pounds are in a bushel of wheat, or, tons, and just keep math at the top of what
It's
they're
gotta
doing.
be forefront.
Yeah,
It has to
whether
be.
it's, if they're going into the carpentry or whatever, measuring, just
That's why
make the math
That's one of the
that
reasons
it
why I
connects to
love
what
what's
they're
happening
going
at
to do.
Workforce Wednesdays. Those kids are doing so much math, they just don't
They don't realize it.
call it
Yeah.
math. I
Yeah.
mean, the things that they're doing.
But you gotta-
Reading a tape measure,
Yeah.
like those things, figuring out how much concrete's gonna go in this chicken,
Yeah.
like all those things are happening.
But with group work, you gotta make sure that, even
All
if
of
you have to do
Everybody has the
testing,
opportunity, sure.
that everybody, because
All
believe
of
me,
you.
Yeah.
yes.
It's not looking at Wendy and saying, hey, why don't you
Yeah.
figure this for
Yeah.
us, because you're the
Yeah.
best out of all of us,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one thing I want to,
That's,
be
that is
careful of.
critical.
That's life
So-
skill, because we've all been in workplaces where
Oh, yeah.
somebody said, hey, you know how to do that.
Even
Tim,
in
can
school.
you take care of that for me?
Yeah, yeah.
But no, so that's just, pay attention to those things, those emails if you can. If you have questions about the diploma
Yeah, they're
changes,
pretty handy.
please.
And,
Yeah.
they always have like, you can click on them and go into additional detail and everything else. Sometimes it's long reading and some,
Yep.
but it's,
The slide deck's pretty, I
it's
mean,
pretty
Yeah.
nice.
yeah, it's pretty laid out there for you.
Yeah.
And I wish I could have shown it for you tonight,
Yeah.
but I cannot, so.
Greenville students used to graduate with like a portfolio.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I remember seeing that at graduation parties, and it's just like, that's kind of a nice thing for kids to have with it. They leave high school with a resume and a portfolio of what they've done, and which what our kids are doing on Workforce Wednesday, that
Neil
would
is
be
smiling and nodding his head because we are.
Neil, you want that, don't you?
We are
You're
fast
pushing it.
tracking that direction.
Yeah. I mean, as a board, I mean, we can help you support those things, and they're looking at all across the country, the problems with attendance, and it's like, I'm sorry, but if you can't show up for school, that's important.
Sure.
Because if you don't know how to show up for school, are you gonna show up for work?
Yep.
Are you
And
gonna
that's
show up at
part-
college if
that's
they give you
actually
a scholarship money?
One of the buckets in the graduation requirements is one of the ways to show what skill, employability. I'm not sure which standard it was, but is either maintain 95% attendance throughout your high school career or show progress from your freshman to your senior year. So
Mhm.
if you were 80% as a freshman but showed that you improved,
Yeah.
those things are going to be a part of the diploma.
Yeah, because you can improve,
Yep, sure.
you know, but definitely need their parents' support to get them there.
Under new business, 8.1, Mr. Black.
It's lengthy here, folks, so bear with me. First item here is a resolution allowing us to pay our staff that lost the 2 days of work on March 15th and 18th due to the closure from the tornado that hit us on March 14th. And this was just instructed by our attorneys to get this done because we're paying for people for hours that they weren't actually here. So in case we were ever be audited by the State Board of Accounts, this resolution will make sure we're in good standing, so.
I move to approve the resolution to pay employees for March 15th and 18th.
I'll second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call, Kelsey, please.
Jerry?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Beth?
Yes.
8.2.
So I shared with you all, can't open it. This is so frustrating. The debt service forecasting. Nope. Document. In our board packet. Basically what we have, our debt service council is counseling our schools because AV has increased so much over the past couple of years, and our assessed value in Randolph County, specifically in our school district, is actually doing very well. I think it's because of a lot of improvements that's happening in our community. Farm ground values going up, which has not always been the case, right? So those things are helping, and what they're doing is encouraging schools to make a plan now to secure their tax rate. And my understanding from this board, it's we don't want to raise taxes if we can keep it steady. That's the goal, and this plan would keep that goal in place. We're in a situation now because of timing, how long it's taking to get buses, that we're going to need 2 buses. One's on order. It's time to order another one. It's an 18-month process to get a bus on site, and right now they're anywhere between $140,000 and $150,000 a piece. So what I would encourage is for the board to go through the steps to secure the funding through the debt service, and it's going to be about $630,000 that would be available. And we can use that towards the purchase of 2 buses and any other improvements that we would see necessary. Or we could buy 3 buses, those type of things. But we need to start the process now in order to be in a position to make that happen in September. Now, if we get AV back in August and it's tanked, we don't have to.
You can always back out.
So we can,
Correct.
okay.
Yeah,
Right.
you don't have to sell the bonds. Like
Right.
this just puts the steps. So we'll have to have the special meeting in April and then another one in May, right? Telling the public.
This is just to
here's
start
our
the
plan.
process, but
You
not.
got it.
And then we can determine if we do want to do the 2 buses, 3 buses.
Right.
Or,
You got it.
Okay.
Yep.
So, it's, okay.
Correct. Yep.
So what do we do with the money that's left? So we've got a big chunk of money left over. We have stipulations, how we spend that?
So it will be
Just
made,
buses?
it will be, the debt service language that they're proposing will be for bus replacement and any other school improvements. So it gets pretty broad, and it won't paint us into, we have to get 1 bus or 5 buses.
Right, okay.
But we could get 5 buses, you know.
I wouldn't recommend that.
No, no, because
It's,
in 12 years,
yeah,
Then
you'll
you gotta
have
replace
I could
five.
actually
Yeah.
still be here for that.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna have
Yeah.
to replace
Five
five
buses,
more.
right.
Yeah, and it'll
Right.
probably
One
be
at a time. One at a
$200,000.
time.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
that's, I guess, I'm just asking for the permission of the board to
Mm-hmm.
start that process, and we'll have that meeting in April, we'll do the whole presentation. I'll have Brandon come and do the presentation on the financial side. But again, we wouldn't sell any bonds until after we have assessed valuation back, so.
Mm-hmm.
I'll move that we accept the,
The good news, sorry,
go ahead.
the good news is that what they're proposing right now is based on a no AV increase.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a positive. If you read that small fine print, what they're proposing is based on we get no increases, so.
Mm-hmm.
I
Sorry,
move
Jerry.
that we start the process for bus replacement.
I'll second that.
Moved and second. Any further discussion? Roll call, Kelsey, please.
Jerry,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Beth.
Yes.
8.3.
Two contracts with the board from Garmin Miller. This is the design company for the greenhouse and the chicken coop. This will come from Next Gen Sig money as far as the design and stuff goes. Greenhouse was always a part of that original proposal, and we're building in, since the kids are trying to raise the money for the coop, to get the proper engineering, those type of things. Contracting with Garmin Miller to get those drawings done
I
for us.
understand they got over $10,000 now.
Yeah, yep, they have raised over $10,000, and they've got a $9,000 grant on here, I think that is earmarked for that as well, so. But I do need the board's approval of those contracts. They will be here tomorrow, if anybody's interested in seeing the drawings for the greenhouse and the chicken coop.
You know what they're charging for that? For that, drawing this up?
What is that? I'm looking at you. I think it's about 10
I'm
grand.
gonna say it's 10 to 15, somewhere in that range to
Yeah.
get all that. I know, anytime you start putting stuff,
I
I
know.
know it's crazy the amount of.
And have we deemed a location for these?
So that's part of they'll do a site.
Site, okay.
Okay.
They,
Site assessment,
yeah,
basically.
so the greenhouse, I do know that they feel comfortable will go right off the southeast end of the new building, right up near the road.
Right,
The chicken coop is the one that's going to, because that grade falls
right.
quite a bit, so they're going to have to work with the placement of that. So the big pressure on moving this along is Cooley's has actually, not Cobalt, has agreed to do the civil work
Yeah.
to set the pad and they're gonna want that sooner than later if they're
Yeah.
gonna do it on off work time to help us out, so. But yeah, they're meeting tomorrow morning at 9. I'm looking at Neil because Neil's gonna sit in for me, with the students and Mr. Wolston and Mr. Hawley to show them the greenhouse and the chicken coop. My understanding, they have two drawings of the chicken coop. One is the Taj Mahal that the Ag something of Cleveland, Ohio put together is what they recommended, and the other is the version of our kids but done by architects.
Mm.
So, so they're gonna get to see a little bit of everything tomorrow, but I do need approval of those contracts.
Move to approve those two contracts with Garmin Miller.
I'll second that.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Kelsey, please.
Jerry,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Beth.
Yes.
8.4.
I shared a proposal with you all from Resolve Tech. I think this is like the ongoing struggle with our controls here, and I don't even know what to say at this point. This is kind of the third conversation in my 5.5 years of being in this role on the controls. Jerry, just to catch you up, we've got a patchwork of different controls
For the.
for our
heating and cooling.
HVAC, yep. And they don't communicate well with the head programming. For instance, Jeremy can set a schedule on the program. What he sets isn't necessarily what's happening in the room. So we'll have some rooms that'll be 62 degrees and the room right next to it might be 78 degrees. And it's just running terribly inefficient. And so digging around, we partnered with Resolve Tech. They've been a great partner for us. They did the controls at Westdale, top to bottom, because Westdale had a very similar situation of us, just multiple different, and it's a vendor that's very well known, and there's multiple people who work on it. That's the other hard part with our controls, is there's not anybody that specializes in Allerton controls locally. So they're recommending a complete overhaul of our HVAC system. And I don't need an approval to move forward with it. I share with you all the number to do this. It's pretty pricey, $600,000. What I'm just signaling to the board, just so you know, I'm gonna have them come to our April 25th meeting and do a presentation on what they found and kind of what they see.
And their recommendations?
Yes, yep. And right now, what I would advise the board is we are a part of a grant application with Purdue University to do, I don't know, I guess research on HVACs with 9 other schools to figure out the best way to make them most efficient. And so I say we wait and see what happens with that grant and allow an outside entity, university, come in here, look at our stuff top to bottom on,
And they have design.
you know, the Department of Ed's money, and just kind of, they may say, you need to go with what they're proposing.
And didn't I see on the ISBA, there was some grants coming out for air quality control and HVAC and everything too?
That is
That's
this
the-
grant.
That is
Yeah.
that one, okay.
So
I
it's
didn't
qualified for the
get into
grant.
the devil of details,
We
okay.
can't apply on ourselves because we have
Okay.
to have at least 10 school buildings or partner with 10 other schools. But then Purdue reached out to, like, what's the Small Rural Schools
Okay.
Association.
Okay, that was it
We
then,
were one
okay.
of them. Because one part of it is you also have to have high poverty and minority.
That's no
We
problem.
need those.
Yeah, there we go,
Yeah.
we're qualified.
Yeah.
So we're waiting to hear back on that grant application, and so I just want you to know that that conversation's happening. I want Result Tech to come in here and share with their expertise with the board.
It don't cost nothing for
No,
them to share.
nope, nope.
That's what we like.
And then we'll and they know, I sent them the Purdue, and they get that we're waiting, and they understand all that. But I just wanted you to know that quote was there, and that this conversation is happening in the background. So
That's good.
I don't need any motions on that.
Okay.
8.5.
Looking to host an auction here with Wagner Engineering, hoping for early June. That'll be an online auction like they did before. We've got a lot of stuff to stage from the old ag shop and just some other things that it's just time to do another clean out. So just ask that the board approve partnering with Wagner Auctioneering for an auction this summer.
I'll make a motion that we schedule an auction with Wagner Auctioneering.
I'll second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Kelsey, please.
Jerry?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
8.6, Mr. Black.
Conversation with the board. I know we have this in a work session topic. Doing a little research and just want approval from the board to move forward with using the old ag shop, the west end of the old ag shop. The front 20 feet will be a makerspace for our 3D printers and Glowforge, and then the back half would be for the wrestling room. We have measured it all out. It'll fit. It's actually a pretty nice size for the space, but just would like the board's blessing to move that
Is that where you
direction
leave the mats down all the time?
all the time.
You don't have to roll them up every day?
And will there be like a partition between?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Did you look into you just gonna look into the HVAC and everything else due to the
Yep, we're good.
smells and
Yep.
everything else?
We will have to put in a not an air freshener, an air,
Filtration.
an air filtration system.
Are we sure we're not gonna need that room for something else? I mean, like the health division or anything else that we're expanding? Like I said, I said it before, I hate to take away educational space in the educational area down there
Sure.
for the wrestling.
Yeah, I think with the room that as far as vocational space goes, what we have with Vision Corner, I think we're in really good shape. The struggle why I think it's time to move them is just because the conflicts that it creates with Northside gym classes, and it's just constant, just clashing. I mean,
Well,
book fair,
yeah,
it's just constantly.
Yeah, and then they're still going up, on stage and trying to change clothes and,
Yeah.
we'll have to think about that. Do they,
They'll have access from the door that goes right across to their locker room. And we're gonna build a small room where they can change in as well.
okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the air, we will certainly have to, Bev, I get what you're saying 100% on the space, but I think the good of getting it out of down here kind of would outweigh any future conflicts that I see right now.
Well, and the guys said that like having those out and being able to
Wash them.
and not have to roll them back up.
Right, I understand
Keeps
that
it-
part of
yeah.
it, but
I know, I had my eye on it for
I'm-
like an art.
I was thinking
class.
like, Julie's class, I know we're trying to expand the healthcare and everything, then we got the robotics. I'd like to see us start expanding our robotics. That would have been a great area for the, to try to get, developing that part of it and everything.
Or an automotive center.
That's where I was kind of leaning at and everything. I just,
Yeah. I know.
Well, we need a motion.
Okay, I move that we move forward with establishing the wrestling room in the west end of the old ag shop.
Second,
I'll second it.
moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Kelsey, roll call please.
Jerry,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Beth.
I guess, yes.
Can I say maybe?
You can say no.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I know, I have before.
8.7, Mr. Black.
Next item here, again, this was a conversation that held with the board and just the recommendation from the painting company to paint the gym foyer and go ahead and paint the wood trim in the foyer to match everything else.
What color are you looking to paint? I guess that's
It'd be white.
white, just
Yeah.
clean it up white,
Yeah.
keep it.
I know I was against that until I went down and looked at it,
Yeah.
because I wanted that natural.
And you still wanna paint all those trophy cases too? Or-
That's what this recommendation is. Yep.
I agree with you. I was against it until I went down and looked at it. Painting is the way we need to go.
That's
It looks nice down at the high school, how they did the others.
around the art.
Our
Yeah.
area.
Who's the painting company?
Emmerich and Sons.
Okay.
Yep.
well, you can-
Have we
Yeah.
got
They'll do
a
a good
quote?
job.
Yep, that's all part of that quote that I shared.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
You need
Take a motion?
I'll make a motion that we, do you even need one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would, yeah.
Make a motion to approve this summer painting project.
Second?
Moved and second. Any discussion? Kelsey, please.
Jerry,
Yeah.
Linda,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes.
Beth.
Yes.
8.8, Mr. Black.
Next item here is to approve a memorandum of understanding with the East Coast Migrant Head Start. This is just a general MOU that allows them access to our students and just data for our migrant students. Our hope is, and talking to Rosemary and Ashley, that not next school year, the year after that, that they're in a position where they want to do a migrant head start in our new preschool. Don't think that they'll be in that spot by this August. But this kind of is the groundwork to start that relationship between Randolph Eastern and East Coast Migrant Services.
Now, when you say they'll get it, they'll actually do it, or they'll bring kids here for that?
They both.
They'll be involved.
Correct, yep. Head Start programs, actually what happened then is that we would lease them one of our rooms. So they would pay us to use our space. Yep, and they'd have all their own staff and everything.
And they would be helping the children in our school district.
Correct, yep,
Yes.
yep.
That's good.
Well, that kind of lightens the load up for us then, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
As far as that goes.
it has great potential to do that, 100%. But the other nice thing they have is they have all their own
They got the
transportation.
staff too,
Yeah, you've probably seen the East Coast migrant bus.
Yeah.
The shorter, not as short, I don't know. it's a half-size bus.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's
Yeah.
just a little, yeah.
But you see it around town, so they'd have their own transportation too, which would be helpful as well. It would lift some burden if we can get it taken care of.
I make a motion that we approve the MOU with the East Coast Migrant Head Start.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Kelsey, please.
Jerry,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Deb.
Yes.
8.9.
I shared an employee child care agreement with the board. This would be the agreement that we would have between the school and a staff member that would like to use our daycare, once it's established. Again, shooting to have that ready in September. It's a big process. Going back to last month, $110,000 grant from SSA to fund a staff daycare, but there's a lot of hoops that we're trying to manage and work through right now.
How many staff is interested in what would be the total of kids at this time? I know the survey went out, so I didn't know.
Yep, I can tell you. Give me a second here. So one of our Workforce Wednesday grant groups, Ms. Hosberg, is leading, and they're assisting with planning daycare and preschool. Looks like we have 14 staff members that said they would be interested in taking part. 11 kids under the age of 1.
Part-time job for you.
8.
I'd come up and rock babies.
8 under the age of 2.
I'm getting good at that.
And 2 under the age of 3. So roughly 20 kids.
Yeah. So what would be the teacher or the staff to
So
baby?
We might need some,
Yeah.
a couple rooms.
You're gonna
0 to
need
1, the ratio is 4 to 1.
Yeah.
4 kids to 1 staff member.
Mhm.
even infants, one under.
Yep. And then above that, I think it goes 6 to 1 and then 8 to 1. So those are all the hoops we're trying to work through. I just want to have this contract in place so teachers or staff members know kind of what the expectations are going to be when and if we get this pulled off. Because
And I think part of the staffing, and I know that New Pal, which is a larger school corporations, did this similar thing. And they are also adding a pathway for high school seniors to come through, and that can reduce the number of staffing. They're gonna get credits for doing that. So that's a potential opportunity for more work-based experience for
Yeah.
kids that are interested in that, so.
So we're gonna have daycare in there, the migrant council gonna be in there, and preschool. All this is gonna, we got room for all this and what we're doing?
potentially. Yeah, there's some other opportunities that we'll table and discuss about potential daycare space in the future, but yeah, that's quickly
Did we build?
running
big
out of
enough?
space.
Never. You
Never.
never build
Yeah.
big enough.
We need 4 more rooms at a gym.
I've had about 3 people ask, when they can start, when can they sign up? And I said, we haven't got the building built yet. Let's talk later this,
Yeah.
early
So
summer
Bigger than
here.
what we planned on.
this is just the initial contract. Again, I will bring an approval for the daycare itself once we have all these things, because it's a big, heavy lift. And Ashley's doing a good job. She's asking all the right questions, but every time she turns a rock, she finds 20 bugs that we've got to figure out. So,
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot, I'm sure, too.
and honestly, if you want to table this agreement until all that's
Could we?
together, yeah, that's fine. Yep.
I mean, just that way
We'll
we
just
have
table.
all of
We'll
our,
approve it all together.
okay,
Yep.
Moving
keep
on to
everything clean that way.
8.10.
Approval to host the 2nd annual STEAM camp this summer. Ms. Cooley and Mr. Lynch would like to do that June 3rd to June 6th. It was a huge success last year.
Mhm.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Who should approve STEAM camp?
I suck, yeah, go ahead.
Nope.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Kelsey, please.
Jerry.
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Deb.
Yes.
I'm asking the board to approve the IRE 3 remediation schedule, which runs that 4 days or 8 days right after Memorial Day. And they'll test on days 7 and 8. same schedule we've done the past 5 years at least.
I make a motion that we approve the remediation schedule for IREAD.
I'll second.
Moved in second. Discussion? Kelsey, please.
Gary.
Yes.
Linda.
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
8:12, Mr. Black.
The junior, senior high summer school schedule, course offerings are the same they have been. I will note that with the loss of the driver's ed instructor, not sure that we're gonna be able to do that. What we can do is, they actually now with driver's training, they can do just about everything online and then do the drive. There's multiple people in Randolph County that they can schedule to do their driving hours with. So we may have to pivot towards getting kids signed up in that
How many
realm.
students do we usually have do the driver's ed course?
20 to 25.
Yeah.
Mhm. But it's, that get an instructor with this short of time that's qualified to do all that, be really hard.
Yeah.
So we'll keep working at it, but the backup plan, which I think both my kids did, actually went great as far as the virtual piece and
How expensive
Yeah.
is it though?
actually cheaper.
Yeah, Brittany
Is
did,
it?
Brittany did 5-star.
Yeah.
I think it was 5-star over it.
Yeah.
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 Well, anything's easier than trying to teach your own kid to drive.
It's cheaper, but it's not as convenient. Meaning,
Yeah.
Right.
you don't, your schedule is, your driving schedule isn't set up for 2 weeks. Like my son, for example, is working on getting his license, and he's got a schedule when he has time free. Now it's not, there's 2 weeks in the summer where he knows every afternoon he's gonna go drive. That's the convenience is really what was nice about it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but if you guys could approve those course offerings, it is on the list. Driver's ed is.
Are we still looking just in case to?
Yeah, well, the BMV has to send you approved folks, and if you've ever worked with that department.
Yes, I've been there. We have a trucking. Nobody wants to go there. Yeah, I understand.
Need a motion?
Move to approve the junior, senior high summer school course offerings.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Kelsey, please.
Gary.
Yes.
Linda.
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
8:13, Mr. Black.
Ask that you approve the grants for FFA classroom engagement at $9,638. And I think Neil and Kyle kind of worked to put that application together, and I believe that's earmarked for the chicken coop.
Chicken coop, I think, for some incubators and
Yeah, there you go.
equipment feeders
Yep.
and whatnot like that.
And then the donations, there's a lot of people that made financial donations to the state wrestling run of Mr. Daniels and then our semi-state Lady Indian basketball team. That's very expensive to do when you put kids up in hotel rooms and travel to Evansville or Frankfurt and take them out to dinner and all those type of things. And Jerry asked me before the meeting, I'm really proud to share that we covered all those costs through T-shirt sales, which we mark up to make back some of the money, and then the donations, we were able to cover those costs. So I know a number of you supported that, and I appreciate that, and appreciate everybody that gave, because it makes that possible without it being kind of a burden to the budget, so. Yeah.
It's priceless.
Yep,
The
100%.
the experience, it
Yeah.
is.
Well, you said they come out ahead.
Yep,
Mhm.
came out ahead.
Yeah. It's awesome.
So if we can approve those donations, that would be excellent.
I make a motion to accept those donations.
I'll second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Kelsey, please.
Gary.
Yes.
Linda.
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Reports here, I will share, we did yesterday actually get our findings back from the State Board of Accounts. I'll share that at the April 25th board meeting, because it'll have to be approved publicly that you guys all got a copy of that. So that is over. We worked through that. Again, kudos to Neil. He was celebrated in the meeting. He was one of the only people to get a lengthy spreadsheet correct. Yeah, you were there.
All
Yep.
right.
Job, Neil.
Everything else looks pretty good. I will tell you, hold one of your seats for the enrollment summary for March. It's the first time I think in my career It was nothing. Nobody moved out, nobody came in. I don't know.
That's a great.
Wow.
But, any questions on those items? Yeah. Ready for
Corporation
comments?
Department comments. Any staff like to make comments?
I'll say something.
Alrighty.
Just to kind of reinforce what Mr. Adams and what Mr. Black talked about, I wrote a list here. The things that are going on here at this school has the attention, in a good way, of the Department of Education, higher ed, employers, organization, community leaders. Other schools come here, as was mentioned, to check out what we have going on. And really importantly, students are excited. More and more students are coming to me and saying, hey, can I go check this out? Or hey, can we go do this maybe? And that's really exciting. And I think that with the high school design that has, I mean, it's essentially official. And with the work that I know Mr. Davison is doing right now, explaining that to teachers department by department, I think that that's just going to continue to provide clarity to teachers, you know, what it is that we've been doing the last few years and why it is that we're doing. And I just think that things are really clicking. It's a good time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Superintendent
It's a
comments.
long list, Mr. President.
Okay.
Hold on your seat. First of all, March 14th, really disrupted this man's life with a lot of lives. I can't give our staff, Mr. Jones, this guy worked tirelessly doing cleanups. When we had a couple of families that needed homes, it was within 48 hours. We not only had them placed in places, but fully furnished, taken care of. I know I saw you guys out and about. And it's just, as bad as that situation was, to see the community come together in that moment was pretty cool. So thank those folks. And then I just have a number of scheduling things here. The musical, because of the disruption of the tornado, the musical was rescheduled. It is this Friday and Saturday. Also Saturday, Lions Club Pancake Breakfast, and it's the birth date celebration of Union City. So a lot of things going on this weekend. Follow it up with April 8th is the day we've been waiting to see come and go, the Eclipse Day. So that is an e-learning day for all Randolph Eastern students. They're expecting, so go get your gas, eggs, bread, and all the gas that you need, because we're going to be out in our area. So no school on Monday. April 12th is the Vision Corner ribbon cutting. I'd like to extend the invitation to the board and anybody that listens to that. That is at 10 o'clock on April 12th. And then the student pitch competition is happening that afternoon. That starts at 12:30. Again, the board is more than welcome. That's all happening at Vision Corner. That's going to be the first official visit at Vision Corner, the first time the public gets in the space, gets to walk through installing some of the medical equipment. Tomorrow, the esports lab, you can start to get a feel for what it's going to be like. So I really encourage the board, and again, everybody's invited
That's the 12th?
to go up on the 12th. Yes, sir. And then on the 13th, Carnivores Playground, that is a fundraiser from our Farm to Table group. That is one of our Workforce Wednesday groups. They're holding a car show and a barbecue cook-off that day. As well as that morning, I couldn't think something goes better with a barbecue cook-off than our 5K that's happening that morning. Shelley Wambo's Workforce Wednesday group has been planning this 5K, run, walk 5K for that morning. It's not too late to sign up. So a big 10 days at Randolph Eastern Union City. So a lot on the schedule. Check our Facebook page. All those things are being updated constantly. But I'd love for everybody to be there on the 12th. That's a lot of work that's went into that space. So that's all I got.
Board comments? I think I'll just go first.
All right.
I just want to thank everybody in the community that come out to help Tanya and I. You know, we've lived here our whole life, and when a tragedy strikes, I'm always usually the helper, not the helpee. Very humbled guy. So thank you. Say something about picture night last night. Been going to them things forever. And last night I was sitting there totally impressed. Every team had a big group of kids, and it was really good. I've seen them before where there was one or two. A lot of parents showed up, so that's pretty special. I want to thank Mr. Thornburg for his hard work. being the AD. He's done a lot of great for us. And I know Keith's gonna pick up the ball and go with it, ran with it. And now to a good thing, I'd like to recognize the Superintendent of the Year in District 6. 6 other superintendents was in this for the running, and the guy sitting to my left got that award. Congratulations. And now he's in for the state running Superintendent of the Year. So that's pretty good for
That's
all
great.
of us.
Thank
And
you.
believe it or not, that's all I have. So,
Thank you.
That's good. Are we giving kids classes?
Mhm.
Oh, good.
Yep.
I was hoping that it's like, okay, if we're gonna be out, we don't want a bunch of kids going out there and looking at the sun without protection.
Got a pair for every kid.
Good. I figured you guys were
Yep.
on it.
Thank Phil Lynch for that. You guys take
Phil
care.
Lynch?
Yep.
Okay. Do that.
any other board comments? I deem this meeting adjourned.